data and none of it. When Brett Lee was bowling,
Oh, hello and welcome. It is a Tuesday, as they say in Hindi, Mangal Pitangal. That's what's going to happen today because it is a replay of the final from last year. It's Mumbai playing Delhi. That's right. That's what's happening today. It's just the one game. And we, of course, are here to talk about it on Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. And my partners in crime today, my big brothers, the elders of the village, the wise people, the ones I try to learn from, but in the end, they end up learning from me. But thus is the circle of life. Mr. Harsha Bhogle and Mr. Joy Bhattacharjya. Hello, gentlemen. How are you? What is this finger on lips, sir? What? Are you trying to prove you are a primary school student? What is this?
no, I was telling some story and producer reprimanded me and said, keep quiet because title music is playing. So I thought I'm waiting for permission.
Yeah, obviously, sir, because we're going on air. You are... Okay, so here's the thing. I know you're new at this, so we'll explain this to you. Joy... Just, with broadcasts, there's a few things we need to learn in terms of etiquette. When we go on air, there's 15 minutes of music before that, and the mics are on. In industry lingo, we call that the mics are hot. At that time, if you speak, it leaks to the audience. So, but it's okay. You seem like you're very bright. You'll pick this up really quickly.
I know. I mean, since the time I'm in Belgium today.
Yeah. What?
If there's an old song, if it's Tuesday, it must be in Belgium.
How old is this song exactly?
This song is the inspiration for the song Churalia. So this thing of music of Churalia.
One second. This song from 50 years ago was copied from this song. Is that what you're saying? All right. Okay. Just two.
Listen, we have to talk cricket because get Joy into trivia and me into 50s music and we'll go on forever. So.
And also I was saying that we have to promise our viewers that we will try to talk about more contemporary stuff. And the further back we'll go, the furthest back we'll go with cricket is that 13 years ago today is when Mumbai played their first game. And in fact, when they played that first game, Mr. Bhogle, you were in the dugout. You were on the sidelines, weren't you?
Not that day. That day, I was not. I joined from the second game.
Oh.
I was with the team, but that day I had an engagement I'd accepted 2 months earlier. So that particular day I was not there.
So, you know something? I'm sorry. I'm just going to digress a bit. I know the producer's probably going to fall off his... Wilson, keep quiet. He's out of control. But I don't feel like Joy... I mean, we've spoken a lot about Joy, your time with Kolkata. I don't think we've spoken enough about Harsha's time in Mumbai. You were there for one season, right? That was the first season, right? Yes. And your official designation was cricket director, CEO? What was it?
No. I never get such fancy designations. Those are for Joy. I don't think I had a designation. I was general
manager,
hands, whatever, handyman or whatever around.
Handyman. I am handyman.
A couple of times, some guy was batting and they was looking around and there was no one, so I threw balls at him.
Okay. But besides that, in the first year, that must have been fascinating, though, right?
It was. Because you got to see how people were growing within the T20 format, how they were starting to understand it, how big players would be insecure before they went in, how getting the balance right was becoming an issue, how 31 from 4 balls, from 4 overs, which you take for granted here unless you're playing in Chennai, in which case you lose, but how 31 from 4 overs was considered tough and people got flustered trying to score 31 in 4 overs. While at the same time, 230 was being made elsewhere. Yeah. So everybody was learning. And we were all part of this big new experiment where no one knew what was right and what was wrong and everyone was feeling their way.
Nice.
Also reminds me of a couple of things. I remember the first time Mumbai came to Kolkata. And in those days, even a lot of people who were associated with the team didn't know too much about the team. So I remember Mumbai was playing and one more enthusiastic supporter came and said, "Come on, Malinga. So the guy next to him said, Malinga's in Sri Lanka. That's Dilara Fernando. Because Malinga's
and Dilara is also Sri Lanka. But anyway, before we come on, I'm glad Joy brought that up because when Mumbai went to Kolkata, they lost 4 games on the trot and finally won in Kolkata. Yeah. Because every time Mumbai does badly, it's Kolkata to the rescue. But what I remember that evening was I hadn't met Shah Rukh Khan before. and Shah Rukh came to the Mumbai Indians change room, and he was so gracious, and he was fantastic. I mean, saying thank you for coming, good game, I hope everything was okay, because he was the home team. And I thought, yeah, I mean, where are the airs coming now? Where's the starriness coming now? There's none of it.
Yeah, there isn't. I mean, Joy will attest to that fact as well. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to spend some time with him as well. Just one of the most gracious people you'll ever meet. Well, that was it.
Unlike some others who moved from Delhi to Mumbai. Sorry, now I'm finger on the mouth again.
I just want to tell everybody, in case you missed that really subtle jibe, and I deserve it. I completely deserve it, and I'm taking it on the chin. I even take most hits on my chin because people are normally one floor. People are one floor below me. Because you said some people who moved from Delhi to Mumbai.
Many have. It's 6 minutes into the program.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Should we just go into an Ask Cricbuzz live question? We have a lot of viewers who are sending in questions. So I will just, I will show this question and Joy will read this out.
Is Amit Mishra a batter option? Okay, he's not a batter option. He's a bowling option. He's a better option than Lukman Meriwala on such a tricky wicket. Look, I definitely think so. I think Amit Mishra has 151 matches. He's got 160 wickets. Harsha, I think he definitely, this is a pitch which was literally written that, okay, Amit Mishra to bowl from this end, literally that.
Also, if you remember, if you look at how Delhi have been playing, I know they've played in Mumbai and they now have to come to Chennai, different kind of surface. But Delhi last game played Rabada, they played Vokes, they played Avesh, they played Stoinis, and they played Meriwala. So he was the fifth seam bowler. So it's crying out for the change. That is almost inevitable, unless there's an issue with Amit Mishra. They want to play some other finger spinner or whatever. No, they'll play Amit Mishra. They have to. If he's fully fit, he has to play.
They have to play him in Chennai. Who's he coming? He's coming in place of Meriwala, obviously. But would you, if Nokia is available, and we had this discussion yesterday, and we had Michael Vaughan weigh in on it, and Harsha, we'd like your opinion on it as well. We're saying if Andre Nokia is available, then do you play, since you have the option, do you play Nokia, Vokes, and Rabada, all three, or you just don't even consider that in Chennai?
No, it was my thought to do that in Mumbai. Yeah. My thought was that Rahane plays for Smith and Vokes. Rahane had only played one game, so he got left out after just one game. And that Vokes plays for Meriwala. So there are three overseas quicks. That was my plan for Mumbai, that you play Rabada, Nokia, and Chris Vokes, all of them. And you have a full Indian batting lineup till you, and Stoinis as your fourth, till you come to Stoinis. But here, I don't see the point playing three overseas quicks, because even the pitch report is saying that it's patchy, it's going to be slow, it's going to be difficult. So you want to take pace off. There's no point picking people who bowl 145 and take pace off. So if Nokia, as Alan Wilkins keeps correcting me all the time, Nokia has to play, they might leave out Chris Vokes on the surface there. Though Vokes gives them a little more backing, but that they might go that way.
Joy, would you go as far as saying for Mumbai, perhaps instead of Adam Milne, you play Jayant Yadav? Now, I know that means that you're playing with just three foreigners, but we've seen that happen already in this tournament.
Yeah, and Mumbai is a strong enough team to take it. I would definitely play, because given that really it's not that there are too many left-handers in the Delhi lineup, but their left-handers are crucial. Their two most dependable players at this point in time are left-handers. And those two guys.
This is from the final, of course, last year, because they drafted him into the final, Jayant Yadav. And this is what he did. Is that Jayant Yadav calling you, Joy?
That's not me.
Oh, it has to be you. It's just, first of all, you're looking at it, right?
It is Joy's phone. He had set an alarm so that it comes on and he can watch his own program.
You guys,
I've never seen you look so sheepish. So I'll tell you what, quickly give Joy those Amit Mishra figures so he can get past it. He's looking too sheepish.
I just want to say one thing. People will think we're scripting this, right? People will genuinely think that we're scripting this. We're not. Mr. Joy Bhattacharjya, the supreme intellectual, just does not know how to put his phone on silent. He just is not aware. Your sons are 20. Ask them. They will tell you.
No, there's two ways. One is there'll be one thing on the side. You just turn that volume down on the side. Otherwise, you can go to settings. There are sound settings over there. You can turn it off over there.
I'm just saying this is the same person who a few years ago when he got his new phone was asking me how to put it on. Joy. So don't get confused by him. Okay, he's still looking at his phone, so I'm just going to quickly tell him that they're playing in Chennai. This is Delhi's first game, of course, that they're playing in Chennai. Mumbai's played here as well. They played their previous game. They won the toss. They bucked the trend and chose to bat first, and that worked out for them. So, well, as they say, if it ain't broke, why fix it? They've done exactly the same today. They've won the toss and they've decided to bat. Harsha, no surprise there.
Yeah. Even though it's a night game, it was always about the track getting slower versus the dew coming. I think they've decided that batting first is too much of an advantage. And you're seeing, Mumbai Indians have made same score in each of the three games. 150, 150 to 115. And we now know that can be defended. Whoever's scoring the runs, 150 can be defended. So, yeah, it was as much of a given as it was to come to Mumbai and bowl first.
Yeah.
It's almost as if there's two different communities playing. It's like a French-speaking Canada in Mumbai and an English-speaking Canada in Chennai. It's the same country, but completely different cultures.
Yeah, and Joy, we were just talking about it, and Mumbai has done that. They've decided that they're going to play Rahul Chahar and Jayant Yadav, and Jayant Yadav comes in place of Adam Milne.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, this is the strength of the team. Even 3-4 years back, if you had so many international stars as all these teams do, you would say, wow, I'm going to drop an Indian, only play with 3 Indians, let me quickly replace another Indian player with an international player. But they're looking at their lineup and saying that they don't even need an extra batsman. Who will Chris Lynn come in place of? Can you bring in place of Ishan Kishan? No, you can't bring in place of Surya Kumar Yadav, in place of Hardik. That's the strength of this team. And I think that's the strength of the domestic talent that Mumbai have, that it's not even something they're considering. Okay, I'm replacing the Indian spinner, a foreign fast bowler with an Indian spinner. I don't need. I'll go with 3. And that's fantastic.
There's no
interesting.
Yeah,
go on.
No, just on this point that we're talking about the Indian talent being indispensable in Mumbai. There's no magic bullet. It doesn't happen overnight. They have done this. This is a crop that they have cultivated, and they're enjoying the harvest now.
Joy's absolutely right. The only other change they could have made, corresponding change, was Lynn comes in for Ishan Kishan. They're going to keep backing Ishan Kishan till he gets it right. So my only concern with this is somebody is going to have to deliver a lot of overs in the power play, because they will now want at least 2 of Trent Bolt coming back. So they'll want someone else, given that Hardik Pandya is not going to bowl. So they'll need someone to bowl in that power play. I don't know if it can be Krunal Pandya or Chahar. Yadav will have to bowl in the power play because with Shikhar playing. But the other interesting one, hang on, is Delhi.
Yep.
What have Delhi done? They've brought in Hetmeyer.
Yes. In place of Vokes. Yes.
They brought in Hetmeyer for Vokes.
And Mishra for Meriwala.
So what's their bowling today? They're going to have Stoinis and Lalit Yadav between them bowling 4 overs.
Yep.
Ashwin, Rabada, Mishra and Avesh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Surprise?
But see, I'm surprised. I'm surprised because this is not really Hetmeyer's surface. In fact, if you have a surface where you play a match like this, if it's a kind of pitch that Chennai has shown over the last few days, I'd say Hetmeyer, I'd say Steve Smith, I'd even say this is Rahane's pitch. Rahane is not always at his best at a very fast 200, 220, but a batsman with his kind of sound technique, when you 150, 160 is a good score, you'd put him up. So I was almost thinking that, look, they have to play Steve Smith because they've given Steve Smith a chance, and he's too senior a player for him to play in one match and then put him down. But Steve Smith for Rahane was the only change I was thinking. Hetmeyer on this surface, Hetmeyer will struggle to time. I'm surprised.
Maybe they just want more batting. Maybe they thought that, look, it's a 150 game. Let's have a little more batting. Vokes on this kind of surface is not much. Maybe Lalit Yadav with his off spin and he bowled the other day, with his off spin can give us a couple of overs. Maybe Stoinis take pace off, can give us a couple of overs. We'll get 4 overs between them. And let's lengthen our batting and have Lalit Yadav at 7 and Ravichandran Ashwin at 8. Maybe that's the plan. But there's another left-hander now for Jayant Yadav to bowl at.
I was just thinking, there's also Sam Billings in that squad, right? He's a guy who's spent some time in Chennai. I think he's also played on this surface, right? I don't even think Hetmeyer's played on this surface, really.
No,
but it's just, I'm just saying that Billings has also, the way he is batted, I know we've not seen too much of him, but I don't know, maybe I would trust him to negotiate a surface, or to be sort of have a different gear a little more than Hetmeyer, or they're not even considering it because they feel like Hetmeyer is their go-to guy from last season?
No, I think if you need 22 of 10 balls, Hetmar is one of the few people who can actually deliver that.
Yeah.
If he comes off, he can deliver 22 of 10 balls. So maybe that's what they think. Maybe Shikhar is in great form. Prithvi Shaw gets us off to a great start. We have wickets in hand. We can power our way through to the end. Maybe Hetmar is the person to do it for us. I still think, this side, Shikhar is looking so good. That run chase will almost be constructed around Shikhar and Rishabh. It'll be constructed around those two people. And if Shaw gives you a start, that's a plus. But they don't want to be chasing 170, 175.
Yeah, well, there you go. If you're looking at it, it's a great batting lineup. It's got Shikhar, who's in great form, 92 of 49 in the previous game. Prithvi Shaw's hitting it well as well. Steve Smith is almost like your backstop in case something goes wrong. He can do it. He's what Hyderabad wants out of Kane Williamson, perhaps, and Delhi would hope for that on this, tough Chennai pitch. Then there's, of course, explosive Rishabh Pant, Shemran Hetmyer, Marcus Stoinis, Lalit Yadav. So, it's looking good. But right now they're bowling first. So in their bowling, Kagiso Rabada, Avesh Khan, Amit Mishra, Ravichandran Ashwin, Lalit Yadav, Marcus Stoinis. The experience there is effectively, you've got experience coming from Amit Mishra and Ashwin. A lot of guile, a lot of experience, know this surface. Both of them know the surface really well. Perhaps a little bit from Rabada. But yeah, I don't know. You're looking at this and you're going, I don't know. Would you have just banked on the experience and the form of Chris Wokes a little more?
Look, I think they would, and I think what's going to happen with this lineup is that, and Mumbai does this very well, they target bowlers. So, for example, if Avesh Khan is having a poor day, they will go after Avesh Khan. They will go after that fifth bowler option. They will go after Stoinis and Lalit Yadav. They will not allow them to settle. And they have a deep enough batting to do that. So they'll say, those 8 overs you're going to take, because Ashwin on this surface, hitting Ashwin, hitting Amit Mishra may not be that easy. We need to get 160, 170 to look safe, because we won 150 games, but it's not a tenable situation. We can't keep winning 150 games.
Yeah.
So they're going to target these bowlers. And I think Avesh, it's really going to be a test for him, because I'm just wondering, Rabada, they have not used with the new ball at all this year. So I'm wondering who they take with the new ball. Does Stoinis bowl with the new ball? Or do they finally send Rabada in? Because Rabada has not got wickets with the new ball, not got wickets in the power play.
Yeah, my only concern with going after a young bowler is Mumbai have now known that they can win games from 150. I just wonder how Mumbai will plan this innings, whether they'll feel the need to go hard or they'll say, look, let's hold and get 150. But if you hold, it gets more and more difficult batting because you've got to go hard up front. And the only reason, guys, we're talking about all this, and some people must be saying, what on earth are they talking about? The other day, RCB made 204 in Chennai. AB de Villiers said it was about a 170. We scored about 30 runs more than we should have scored. But we don't know if it's the same surface. Matthew Hayden, the pitch surface, said on the pitch report, on the pitch report said that it's patchy all over. It's patchy all over. It'll be difficult to score runs on. And that's why we're talking 150. But Joy, your point is actually, now that I think of it a little more, they'll try and maximize the power play. Yes, I think Quinton de Kock's the person to... Ashwin versus Quinton de Kock is a very good matchup in the first 10 overs.
But the thing with Mumbai, though, is Mumbai just plays the way they want to play. I feel like they're surface agnostic, opposition agnostic, conditions agnostic. I guess that probably just comes from the confidence of winning 5 titles and the fact that they've got a business model that works and that they've got backup after backup. So I don't even think they're worrying about the fact that their magical 5, 6, 7 Joy is not giving them as much as it has given them in previous seasons.
No, I don't think. I think it's too early for them to worry about it because they're getting across the line. Had they not got across the line in 1 or 2 more matches, in one more match, maybe they would have thought about it, saying 5, 6, 7 not giving us. In any case, I don't think they're looking at changes barring some serious injury at this point. These guys are just too good.
They don't worry.
But I'll tell you one thing though. Mumbai is a kind of team which is like a duck. It's like very serene in the surface, but they are paddling furiously underneath. They are thinking about it. They're working very hard. They're saying, dude, we are not going to allow this because exactly that. I think they're definitely going to throw the ball to Ashwin and say, you bowl at Quinton de Kock. So Ashwin in one end, Avesh Khan at one end. Avesh Khan is the guy they have to target. Then at some point, if Rabada comes on, play out Rabada, take on the others. Because don't allow Ashwin and this other guy, don't allow Ashwin and Mishra to get together and spin a web around us. That's what they can't allow.
Yeah. We just call 160 wicket bowler this other guy.
But that's Joy, right? Joy, because his thoughts are racing far ahead of his very well-endowed vocabulary. Sometimes he just goes, that thing. And I'm like, it's all right.
Because you're already on his next point.
He's gone. He's on just 2 points ahead. That's all. A bit like Mumbai Indians, right? Mumbai Indians are also, they're probably already thinking they're in the playoffs. Well, okay, we're talking about ducks, right? We're talking about paddling below the surface. We know you guys sitting at home do that as well. You watch the teams and you go, I can make a better one. And you will on my11circle.com. You go and download the app. And then you make your team. That's right. It's a mix and match from both teams. You pick 11 players, and it's 1 to 1 crore on every game. You have this opportunity to do it this time. We're going to help you as well. We have our smart picks, 3 of those that we're going to show you now. And it's up to you whether you want to pick them or not, but I think you should. Rohit Sharma, Ravichandran Ashwin, Jasprit Bumrah. I'm just going to go really quick into why we have picked them. It's not random. Let's just show you Rohit Sharma's numbers and why we're saying you should pick Rohit Sharma. One, of course, is his opener. He's batting first. This is what he did in the last game he played against Delhi, which was about 5 months ago, the final, 68 of 51. He likes playing against Delhi, and they're playing in Chennai. So Ashwin returns to his home ground, which is why I was saying pick him for sure. He knows Chennai. He's played 38 matches here. He's got the wickets. He's got a decent economy, strike rate average. Everything looks great. And then we say Jasprit Bumrah. Why are we saying Jasprit Bumrah? Because he's the bowler whose 4 overs you just quietly take to the bank. Yes, Harsha, you just take them to the bank. And you see his head-to-head, not just against Rishi. You pull his head-to-head against pretty much every batsman and you see he's coming out on top.
That's an awesome head-to-head, isn't it? 33 balls. He's got him out 5 times in 34 balls, going at just over run a ball. What's the expression? He's got the wood on him, right? I don't know where that came from, but he's got the wood on him. So, yeah, the trick for Mumbai Indians is, it's like you like that laddu, but it's got only 2 raisins in it, and you got to figure out when to eat that raisin. So I've got only 4 overs. How do I bowl Bumrah's 4 overs? Ideally, they want to bowl him for 1. You saw in the other game, because Bairstow went hard, they had to bring Bumrah back for a second over and then hold him back. Ideally, they want Bumrah to bowl only 1 in the power play and then go in the end. But he is come over number 17, over number 19. Bumrah becomes a different bowler. So that is something that will play in the minds of Delhi as well when it comes to their time to bat. At the moment, I just warn against one thing. Sometimes you see a player on a ground like Chennai go off and you think, wow, what are these guys talking about? 140, 150 kind of game. Yeah. How much was Bairstow the other day and how much did they finish with? Because the run rate falls off a cliff.
Yeah.
So maybe someone like a Quinton de Kock's got to go really hard up at the top and then the others just build so that Pollard can finish at the end.
Yeah, it's Joy. I mean, the technical question I'd like to ask you first up is that I've had laddus with like almonds and cashews in them, but never with raisins. Have you ever had this aforementioned laddu?
Raisins. I've had something which is close to a laddu. It's called a moa in Bengal, MOA, and that has raisins. But laddus,
No, there is in Marathi, all Marathi people watching Zanan, there's a Ravetsa laddu. Ravetsa laddu has ek bedana on it. One bedana. The joke against our community is that you put 1 bedana and that's all. That's the only one you have. If I'm giving it to you, I take out that one, you look at it and you think, oh, I'm the only guy whose bedana dropped out. So everyone gets that and use only one now. Okay, we're talking cricket. It did sound exciting at the end and it was at the beginning.
No, it's not that. Here on Cricbuzz Live, we raisin all kinds of points. Yes? That joke is even more stinky than my green smoothie, by the way. My green smoothie is not as stinky as that joke.
I'm changing the taste.
Yeah, should immediately. Let's quickly. I mean, there's a change of taste for Delhi as well, right, Joy? I mean, they've been playing in Mumbai. They come to Chennai, day and night, tale of 2 cities. They have to adapt, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the problem is that you look at it here. They're losing more wickets. I mean, the thing that they need to do is they need to go hard up front as well again. They have the same issue. They need to go hard up front because their problem is exactly going to be the same, which is that, the runs will fall off a cliff. The ball gets softer, they're going to be in trouble. So one of the things that I was looking at was, look at Prithvi Shaw. Prithvi Shaw's average against all other teams, he's in his late 20s, early 30s. Prithvi Shaw's average against Mumbai over 6 matches is 8.83. 8.83. And that's going to be playing on his mind because, see, whatever else is not, he remembers the matches he's played. And this is not ancient history. This all happened in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
In fact, it was reached a situation where they dropped him for the final.
Yeah.
So he's got... So it's a very interesting conundrum for him. Is he going to come out and say that, you know what, this is my opportunity to really prove it because this is what they did last time to me? Or does he succumb to it? On the other hand, you have Shikhar Dhawan, who averages 39 against them. 39 against any team is like a spectacular average.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Harsha, I want to just ask you one thing about Prithvi Shaw real quick, because you've seen him, you were with the other commentators, your fellow commentators. What have you, the difference between Prithvi Shaw 2021 to Prithvi Shaw dismal season 2020?
2 or 3 things. We did a long conversation with him that people will get to see shortly. And a week before the tournament started, he came back from Australia. He was dropped. He was all over the place. He was feeling low. He did a 6 or 7 day camp one-on-one with Praveen Amre, and they identified where the bat was coming from. They identified that he needed to get a lot closer. I think Sunil Gavaskar did a really nice dissection on commentary of his bat coming closer. Now, the thing is, muscle memory sometimes takes the bat away. Can he be disciplined enough to keep doing that? But also, he's a very much on the rise, go with the flow kind of batsman. If the ball stops and comes, he'll have to make that adjustment. I think he just needs to look across at the other end and see someone who at this age is playing the best T20 cricket of his career.
Yeah.
Here's someone who started off with Delhi Daredevils in 2008 and had a really good season. But Shikhar up to 2017, his career strike rate was 120.
Yeah.
Last 4 years, it's high 130s. In the last 2 years, it's 145. He's playing the best cricket of his career. And I was so fascinated when I spoke to him the other day in the presentation. And he said, I told myself not to get worried about getting out. I told myself I have to keep reevaluating myself, learn new tricks because you're never too old to learn new tricks. And I have to adapt. He's thinking like this at this age. So, there's an inspiration for Prithvi Shaw right there. Yeah. As there is for everybody else, for Ishan Kishan, for Surya Kumar Yadav, for everybody there. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, so truly in the last 3-4 years, we've seen the Shikhar Befikar that we keep talking about. That's what we've seen in the last few years. And the thing for Delhi, though, is where Mumbai and Chennai, in terms of surfaces or in terms of their mode of attack, will not differ, Joy, is that Chennai has also been giving you runs in the power play, right? As you said, when the ball's hard, it's still giving you runs. The problem comes around, the cliff that they fall off or the potholes in the highway come perhaps in the middle overs. And that's where they'd use the experience of someone like Steve Smith to say, all right, I got this, guys. I'm just going to rotate strike. We're going to run the hard twos and we're going to just keep this going because we've got enough empirical data from Chennai to know what teams have done wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to look at that and say that, you cannot score at 7.75 at there. It's just too low. You've got to keep it higher than that. And the problem is that, you see, it's not just the 7.75 there. It's, even 8.73 towards the end is not great scoring. 60 to 20 overs, you'd be expecting teams to go at 10, 12, 14 at that kind of a caliber. And I think that's what they've got that's why they've gone for a batsman like Steve Smith saying, you're a classy international batsman. If anyone is able to make this adjustment, it's you. Okay. And I think, this is the kind of surface for which Steve Smith is a very, very, very good player. Yeah, because he can adjust his game.
Even if he gives you most days, we've seen in games in Mumbai, if you make 50 or 40 balls or 60 or 50 balls, you've lost your team the game.
Yeah.
But look at it this way. If Steve Smith gives you 50 from 40 today, the others give you 100, 110 out of 80. I know that's not easy. It sounds easier on paper, but someone has Hetmeyer as a flyer, Prithvi as a flyer. Yeah. You still got a 150, 160. 50 out of 40 is not such a bad innings here as much as it is elsewhere. The question is who plays that innings for Mumbai, because Mumbai's entire batting side is built on go, 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 go.
Yeah.
It sounds like the old Deccan Chargers song. Just go, 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 go. Remember that? There's good anthems. Good anthems, and there was this.
It was horrible.
Yeah. If there wasn't this anthem, how would the others look good, right? So, and this was terrible. But Mumbai is go, go, go. So I wonder if Rohit Sharma will say, okay, I'll play that game. Quinton de Kock, go. Surya Kumar Yadav, go. And I will play through. So I wonder if they'll think about it like that.
There's, of course, two of the bowlers who did the best in the previous season. Rabada for Delhi and, of course, Bumrah for Mumbai. Those two have a face-off again. Well, not literally, but they're bowling for their teams, of course. I think the question is, I mean, this is their record. I mean, it's an excellent record, of course, for both of them. Joy, the thing is that that Mumbai has figured out, we always talk about this term, right? We talk about optimization of resources and why Dhoni is so good because he knows. No, you've only, one second. You've only heard me say this 50 times. Right, Joe?
Optimization of resources. Are you talking of paradigm shifts as well? With the macroeconomic
I'll get to
flow?
I will be getting to that as well.
Okay.
No, I won't. Not to paradigm, but optimization, yes. We know that MS does that. Mumbai has learned to do that with Bumrah. They really optimize. They know how to use him. Do you feel that Delhi is missing a trick with Rabada? I know you touched upon it a little earlier. Just want to discuss that a little more. Do you think they're missing a trick with optimization of Rabada?
I think they are simply because, again, we go back to that whole theory that how many resources can I save towards the end? What can I save back? And sometimes you don't need to save. You see, my basic theory is that the game leaves surfaces like Chennai because, the overall scores will go up over time. But overall, if you take all team surfaces, all the rounds that people play on, IPL scores are rising by 10, 15 runs over 3-4 years. Okay, which means that taking wickets is actually becoming more of a premium. The more wickets you take, because the more faster people score, taking wickets becomes more of a stopper than it used to be. You can't contain.
Yeah.
So then you're saying that if this is my best bowler, why is he not taking wickets up front? Because see, wickets at the end are great to bring down the run rate. But if you really want to influence, they're reactive. Yeah. If you really want to influence the game, you want to take wickets up front as well. So I feel Rabada, a bowler of Rabada's quality, 2 overs in the top 6, I would definitely go for at least 1, if not 2 overs in the top 6, and 1 over in the top 3 at least. Let me throw my best weapon at them. Let me throw my best weapon at Rohit Sharma and Quinton de Kock.
Now my question to Harsha, my next follow-up question is, do you think that for Delhi, bowling Rabada in the power play will be a paradigm shift?
No, it'll just be a continuation of the existing framework.
A time-space continuum.
Last year, Rabada took 2 wickets in the power play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they want a Rabada kind of person at the back, even if it's a slow deck. I'm trying to think who's going to bowl at the depth for them. I mean, they'll probably want Ashwin to bowl a little bit up front, to go a little deep, bowl the middle overs with Lalit Yadav a little bit maybe. Are they going to Stoinis bowling back at the death? Are they going to keep Ashwin going deep to the 16th and 17th over after bowling maybe 1 or 2 up front? Or maybe with the matchup being what it is, are they going to go Mishra against Rohit Sharma and run the risk of Quinton de Kock taking on Mishra? So I think this effort at optimizing resources has led to a scarcity syndrome.
Oh, nice. I like it. I love bringing up a concept that I know very little about, but still I'm not scared to use. And another one comes up, which again, I don't know, but I would perhaps use it again. The scarcity syndrome. Wilson, write it down, please. We will use it tomorrow. It's a double header. We'll use it tomorrow. But again, I mean, it's about, I'm just thinking when we were looking at those comparative figures, right, from Mumbai and Chennai, is this happening then? Are teams, because there's about half the wickets taken in the power play in Chennai than in Mumbai. Are we seeing just too much containment and defensiveness, Joy, in Chennai compared to Mumbai, where they're attacking right up front? Here, they're being defensive, saying, let's just contain runs because we know the pitch will help us in the middle overs. Let's just contain runs in the power play. It doesn't matter if you don't get wickets, we're going to get them towards the end.
I think they are. But I really think that that's not the way to play against a team, for example, like Mumbai. Because I think the power that Mumbai has, no matter who is there, you see people like Kieron Pollard and all, they've not got off on every match. But at some point in time, they have the strength to be able to muscle you out. It's not, I mean, with apologies to them because, they're the IPL team, it's not the Rajasthan Royals middle order or it's not the Sunrisers Hyderabad middle order. This is a middle order that can take on you. And I believe that, I think if Delhi has to win today, and mind you, Delhi is coming into this game in a great situation. They've lost their last 4 matches, okay? They are obviously the pretenders versus the title holders. They are the biggest, with the title holders. If I were Ricky Ponting, I'd say, go free, go and hit them with what you have. We will innovate. We'll do the running. let Mumbai react to us. We're going to change them. We're going to dazzle them, and we have nothing to lose. We've lost 4 in a row. We'll lose another one. It's a league game. It doesn't matter. But hey, if we win, the psychological advantage you're going to get in this rest of the season is huge. So that's how he's spin it.
That's
a tricky one to play the power plays. It's tricky in the power plays because you do know that you want to go hard because batting will get difficult as the ball gets older. But if you lose too many wickets in the power play, then getting out of that rut and still scoring enough, putting up a score at the death is difficult. So that is why I thought they'd say Quinton de Kock go, Surya Kumar Yadav go, Rohit give us the body to the innings. And maybe that is how they'll go. That's my gut feel. It's a tricky power play because we saw with Bairstow. I keep coming back to Bairstow. He was looking like he was running away with the game. Even at 80 after 9-10 overs, they're still struggling at the back end. So that's my feeling. I think they'll have a designated go cricketer, a batsman at the top, and maybe Rohit to bat all the way.
They are, of course, batting first. Mumbai has won the toss and said that they will bat first. That has worked for them in Chennai. So let's have a look at the points table before we wrap up because both these teams are looking pretty solid, right? Bangalore and Chennai are looking fairly solid. And, you've got 4 teams at the back now. I know it's just 3 games down, right? But that's about 25% of, the tournament, Joy. And you're looking at them saying, all right, we've played 3 out of 14, right? We're just, there's a gap. There's a clear gap.
Yeah, no, I just hope we are not right about that because, yes, right now what it's looking like is it's not looking like an even table. It's looking right now, frankly, between as haves and have-nots. And clearly the haves are the top 4. But that's my point, that I think it is looking like that. The IPL has this habit of every year surprising us in some way or the other. So I'm really hoping that some surprise happens. At least one of those bottom 4 climbs out, gets into the top 4. Something happens because it would be very boring if this sort of situation lasted to the end of the tournament. I'm hoping the grounds being moved around a bit also, teams moving to different grounds will also change it because otherwise, those 4 right now are looking like they have the stuff.
Just one last point before we go into Joy's question. Just see what Rohit Sharma says at the toss. He says this looks even drier compared to the last few games.
Wow.
He said it looks drier. The last game was a 200 game, but that was the genius of Maxwell and AB coming together. He said looking drier than the previous few games to 150 games. Mumbai will give themselves 3-4 overs and work out what the right score on that is.
Yeah, and they're good at that. That's the thing about Mumbai is they're good. And well, we're going to see a few fireworks, we hope, because it is a replay of the final. There's a lot at stake. It's, morale. It's a bit of ego, I'm sure, as well. And then, of course, there is the cricket. But right now, nothing puts your morale and ego more at stake than the joy factor question. Because if you can get this right, you can walk around in your colony when lockdown is over. Don't do it right now. And tell people that you got the first correct answer of the joy factor question for the day. And remember, if you do it today, nobody won this yesterday. Harsha, do you know this? Nobody got the right answer.
No, I just heard it. Nobody won it yesterday.
Nobody.
Joy is setting questions for his ego for people to answer. Come on.
Yeah,
someone's got to get it.
It's terrible. I don't think you should be seeking validation for your insecurities on the shoulder of unsuspecting cricket fans. But it's your life.
I was harshly got it right last time.
I was harshly toilet trained. What can I say? It's in my psyche, Freudian. It's completely Freudian. I'm sorry about it.
Okay, what have you got?
Okay, I've got something that, at least I'll get 10 answers, but it's a fun answer. If you take a minimum of at least 20 overs bowled, who was the most economical bowler in the first edition of this tournament in 2008? So you won't get it if you straight look at the stats because they have, minimum of 20 overs and all that. But I promise you, if you get the answer, there'll be a smile on your face.
Is there a clue there? Is there a clue there? It's like an ad. It's a good clue. It's a good clue. How was your drive? Was a good drive. It's a good clue.
Is it? He's not giving us anything. No, he's not giving us anything at all. Well, the thing is, Delhi's not won a game in Chennai since 2010. But I think that, we are looking at people winning this joy factor question today because I feel nobody winning it yesterday is a longer dry spell than it has been for Delhi. So somebody please break it. #Cricbuzz Live on Twitter. Send us your answer as soon as possible. Got our score predictions coming up now. There's a lot of confusion. There's information, there's instinct. They're all battling against each other. It's Mumbai batting first. Get your guesses in, gentlemen.
Okay, I'm going. Bofors. 155.
Bofors?
Okay, that used to be the 155mm howitzer. It's to be called a Bofors howitzer. It was made by Bofors.
I thought Bofors was 64. I didn't realize Bofors was 155. Here's an army man's son talking. That's why he's talking about. I mean, we are armed Jatta. We're talking about how much they were rumored to have paid to get the contract. But I'm not going 64. I'm just thinking Mumbai get off to a good start. Pollard is there to finish at the end. 165.
You're army admi, we are aam admi. So that's why we are not giving you any gun or any top or something. But I'll tell you what I'll give you. I'll give you Tatia top ki sabse badi top. 173 because it was 17.3 feet. Tatia top ki top was 17.3 feet. I know.
Poor Tope Sahib. Poor Tope Sahib has become top.
Sir, वो हम नॉर्थ में हमसे नहीं होता ना. हमसे नॉर्थ में हमें नहीं पता होता था ऐसे होता है. We used to think he was Kiran Moore for the longest time. हमें नहीं पता ये linguistic nuance. We are not aware of this. Anyway, we are aware that we have to leave now. We will, of course, be with you in Cricbuzz Combox at the end of the 10th over. I want to quickly tell you about Cricbuzz Plus before we go. This is above the noise. You want all the premium content, whether it is written or video. We're also talking about Cricbuzz in Conversation. Harsha referred to his chat with Prithvi Shaw. That's available on Cricbuzz Plus. Yes, Harsha? It is?
It will be. It will be. As soon
Right.
as they finish editing it, yes. There's a few. There's not just Prithvi Shaw. There's a few others.
Come on, Wilson, hurry up and edit. I'm telling, it'll happen. It's happening, sir. Don't worry. My little sweatshop is on it. Don't you
There was
worry.
there was a very well-known producer in Sri Lanka. He used to actually control the entire telecast in the good days of Rupavahini. His name was Wilson.
Really? That's amazing. Mine's just a volleyball with a face on it. I think I've said too much. It's time for us to leave. A big thank you for Harsha Bhogle and Joy Bhattacharjya. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You were watching Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle.